Hello, fellow Spark drivers. Hope you're doing well, staying safe out there. Are you enjoying the Spark app in the App Store? No? Okay, write a review. I'm gonna need more characters than that. Anywho, in this video, I'm gonna be talking about a recent time I got stuck. Not on the road, but there was no support, and here are all the details. Okay, there's this one customer. I don't know if they refused to change their address, they recently moved, maybe they're staying at a friend's place, and that's why in the notes it says, please deliver to this address instead of the default one. I don't know the details, because part of me is like, change your address. It's the third or fourth time I've delivered to the alternate address. It's not too far away. The customer is very appreciative, and it's a few minutes away, so I'm not worried about getting more pay or anything. And may even be shorter distance than the actual default location. So what I've done before is I text the customer, because they make sure to send a text when I'm on my way saying, hey, did you see the note about the other address? I say yes, and I say I'll just have to check in with support because I can't mark myself as arrived since it's a different location. Should only take a minute. First 2-3 times, no problem. Now this time, so what I do is I get on the phone with support, and by the way, that voice message, anytime there's one, I don't need to hear that. So this last time it's over a minute and it's about insurance. I haven't selected a menu option. I should hear that if I'm inquiring about insurance or whatever topic, So that's a waste of time. Get rid of that. So that was bad enough. So what I do is I drop off the order at the customer's door, and as I'm doing that, I'm on the phone with support. 5-minute wait, okay, turns into 20. Customer ordered some cold stuff, frozen and or dairy. I don't really remember. But I don't want to be sitting in my car. And this place is about, 20 plus miles out. So what I do, I drop off the order and then I take off because I'm still, until I get back to the store almost, I'm on the phone trying to get a hold of support. Eventually, I hang up because, every few minutes it'll say, we can save your spot in line. We can call you back. It's like, well, what's the difference? I don't have other calls to make or anything. I'm working. So I call the store, talk to a manager. They say they can't do anything because I just want it marked as delivered. Because typically support will call the customer. If it's a different address, they just want to check with them, confirm that they actually got their order. Because it's easy to scam that way. You just say, oh, they said to drop off here instead. But it's in the note, clearly. So no problems before, like I said. But this time, it was an issue. So when I do get a hold of support, I explain everything, they put me on hold, come back, and then they hang up. I don't think they knew what they were doing. And, you hear stuff in the background that it's like some of these people, maybe all of them, work remotely. So you hear kids screaming, dogs barking, and it's like, you need a quiet work center. So then I call support again because the store couldn't do anything, store manager, and it's like, interesting. So there are no actual leaders, no managers. You're not in charge of anything. Why wouldn't they have access to Spark? We work for Walmart. Our taxes go through them, our pay and that. And the fact that they can't even say, well, I'm going to get someone who can help you. There's no authority. They're not given the responsibility. Do they even have keys? Just leave the store unlocked? I don't know. But I say that because I'm disappointed, because if you can't get me the answer, if you don't know the answer, rather, get me someone who can. Offer some kind of a solution. Because every now and then, this will be helpful to new drivers. When they update the system, our app and that, it'll go back and forth. Because if you mark as arrived, and it says, check your settings, we think you're in the wrong location, You do it 2 more times and you can override it. It'll say, are you sure you want to proceed? But this time I couldn't do that. So that's why I have to call support. So, customer satisfaction number 1. I don't want a bad rating for this. If I deliver to the default address, which I could have done, but again, I don't know the details. Maybe they just moved, or there's some glitch in the system. They can't change their address. Or like I said, they're staying somewhere else temporarily. So I'm not one to be like, change your freaking address. Now, if I get another order from that customer, part of me is like, well, they got to change it. Because if this happens again, I'm not going to go through that. So drop it off at the default one, and all your cold stuff, it's like, well, you never updated your info. And if it's temporary, it's like, well, okay, you can change it to this other address and then change it back. There's no law against that. But anyways, I finally get a hold of someone else on support, explain to them everything, and this is over an hour later, because I'm sitting in the parking lot at the Walmart, and it was a long drive back. It was about 30 minutes, but they finally take care of it, and I say, I just want to make sure my metrics aren't affected, because when you're late dropping off, it'll say we suggest you head to the pickup and or drop off, if you're late to the store, picking up an order or dropping off. And it looks like everything went through fine. Customer was satisfied in that. But I couldn't get a hold of support. 20-minute wait turns into 40 minutes. And I don't know what was going on. Now, I kept my cool. I told them, I know you guys are swamped in that. I don't know if it was a lot of people calling about the insurance or something, not being able to work. But the wait times are ridiculous. And then there was a wait for the chat also, because you can chat with an agent on the app, but it's a lot of info to type. But got it resolved. But I feel I did my best, because again, I could argue, well, you should have just dropped it off at the default address. My gut was telling me there's going to be a big problem with this, and there was. But like I said, I've done this before for this customer, and I'm not sure who tips what. We should be able to see that, because you get 3 orders, let's say a $10 tip or $50 tip. I'd like to know and send thanks for a tip, just like on Uber Eats if they still do that. But in that way, we know what people to not pick up for. But anyways, got it resolved, and it was just a nightmare as far as waiting. And in that situation, I let the store know what was going on. I let support know, but I doubt that they're going to communicate that, because we don't get notes from support or the store for deliveries. Hey, this customer's complained about this and that before. People dropping bags, and it's fragile, stuff like that, little things like that. But anyways, I'd love to hear from you. Any wild, wacky stories, whether it's waiting or just frustrating. Just anything, really. But got it all taken care of, got it done. I don't like being hung up on. That's very rude. I wasn't angry or anything with them on the phone. I don't think they knew what to do, because they didn't call me back or anything. But anyways, leave some comments. I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe for new videos. Like this video up, share it with other drivers. I do appreciate you. I will see you next time, and keep on sparking.